second. Okay, now put them down. Now put them down.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hold them up in the back.
No.
Do you want the bracket anywhere besides?
Yeah. No, I think it will
Okay.
show. All right, I think we'll get started. Rachel, what do you think? We'll get started?
We're just going to hope for the best.
All right, I think we'll get started. The folks that come over can just reach us at the end. First, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. I'd like to thank our awesome basketball team and all the supporters. My name is Delegate Kathy Shalega. I'm joined today by my cohort as Senator Mary Beth Caruso. And we have a lot of legislators and concerned citizens here with us as well, and Evie you'll hear from soon. This bill is simple. House Bill 47. It's about fairness for girls, and it's about protecting our girls on the field and in the locker room. House Bill 47 is very simple. It just says that girls' JV and varsity sports teams are limited to biological girls. As a high school varsity athlete myself, I love the fact that we have way more girl athletes today than we did before Title IX. And we know that recreating is great for everyone. This bill does not weigh in on anything other than JV and varsity girls sports. Competition at this level is where we need to protect it, because this is where girls set records, earn medals, and get opportunities for collegiate sports and even scholarships. And where do girls go from there? They go to the Olympics. So this is so important that we are keeping a fair playing field. This is science. It's biology. Boys are faster, stronger, they jump higher, they have more muscle, they have bigger cardiovascular systems, bigger bones, and testosterone, among other things. And it's not just protecting girls' athletic opportunities, but protecting them from injuries. And we've seen it happen, unfortunately. In the last field hockey season in New England, there was a boy playing against a girls' team. He hit the puck so hard, he knocked the girl's teeth out. There was another instance on a volleyball team with a boy playing on the female team against a female. And in volleyball, the net is lower for girls. He spiked that ball down on her, gave her a concussion, and she is still suffering from brain injury from this. Finally, protecting girls in the locker room, in the showers, in the dressing rooms is important. Riley Gaines, who unfortunately couldn't be here with us today but supports this bill, talked about when Leah Thomas, the collegiate swimmer who's a biological boy, was in the locker room with the girls, changing into swimsuits. One of her teammates was a victim of sexual assault, and here she's in a locker room with a male with full male parts. This should not happen. So I want to thank all the people that came to support this bill, and we'll have a great hearing today. I'd like to turn it over to Senator Mary Beth Caruso for some more comments.
I'm Senator Mary Beth Caruso. I represent Maryland's coast, which includes Stephen Decatur High School. I want to thank you, Delegate Shalega, for your leadership to ensure fairness in girls' sports in Maryland. And I want to thank all the coaches, the student athletes, their families for stepping up, for protecting opportunities for girls in girls' sports. As the Senate sponsor of the Fairness in Girls Sports Act, I believe this legislation is needed so girls in Maryland can compete, earn scholarships, medals, and records. It's a basic common sense bill, simply ensures a level playing field for girls' sports where biological girls compete against biological girls only. And the bill only applies to high school, junior varsity, and varsity teams. This bill protects hard-earned opportunities for girls to compete in organized high school sports fairly and to earn athletic awards, scholarships, just as I did as a student athlete. My story, and the story of thousands of Maryland women who play competitive sports in high school and earned a college athletic scholarship, underscores the need for the legislation now. I played varsity high school tennis for 4 years at Stephen Decatur High School in Berlin as the #1 girls single position. By holding that position at the high school level, I then had opportunities to compete in regional and state tournaments that then put me in the strongest position possible to be considered for a college athletic scholarship. The result was I was offered and accepted a partial athletic tennis scholarship to play for the Catholic University of America, a scholarship that was a lifeline for helping our family pay for the cost of my college, where I played in the #3 girls singles position and the #1 doubles position for all 4 years. Had one of the boys from the boys tennis team at my high school decided as a trans athlete to play for my girls' high school tennis team, it would have displaced me from the #1 position on the girls' tennis team, thereby denying my opportunity to compete and earn a tennis scholarship. As both a Maryland elected official and as a female athlete who earned a college scholarship, I wholeheartedly believe that this legislation is needed now to ensure fairness for girls in girls' sports in Maryland. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm extremely proud and honored to be here to speak with all of you. My name is Evie Edwards, and I represent the Independent Council on Women's Sport, otherwise known as ICONS. I am a wife, a mother, and a registered Democrat. Though I currently live in Asheville, North Carolina, my family has lived in Maryland for over 40 years, and both my children were born in Baltimore. I'm a former NCAA cross-country athlete and a current cyclist with world and national medals. I was an athlete at Track Worlds in Los Angeles, where the first trans-identified male was awarded a women's title and a world record in 2018. The very real issue of males and female sports exists and should not be what prevents any female from realizing their full potential as an athlete in Maryland. Policies that allow for male competitors to claim awards and recognition meant for female athletes are wrong. The majority of constituents agree that the inclusion of male bodies in female sport is unfair for everyone. There are over 22 peer-reviewed studies that show that the male-born athletic advantage cannot be muted. We know that allowing males in female sport is not fair, and it is not safe. Categories exist for a reason in sporting competitions. We have categories for sex, for weight class, and for age. We don't allow athletes to identify into an age category based on feeling older or younger. Sex categories are the same. The only way sport can be fair for women is with a protected female category that excludes competitors with male advantage. I have 2 children. My 11-year-old daughter excels in soccer, taekwondo, and cycling. I have concerns of fairness and safety and feel dismayed at the inevitable decision that we'll have to make if she continues her athletic pursuits with males. Just as families of female athletes all over Maryland are now experiencing, our decisions will be rooted in concerns for her physical safety, her self-esteem, and her mental well-being. This does not happen in boys' sports. It's an injustice to girls. We know females experience puberty differently than males. Boys develop muscles and bones which are advantageous for any sport they choose to participate in. And female puberty often brings weight gain, distribution, fat, lean muscle, and breast development, and of course, menstruation. Women and girls have much higher rates of knee injury and experience higher rates of concussion than their male counterparts in sports as a result of physiological differences and monthly hormonal changes. When women and men speak out about this unfairness, they are accused of harassment and bigotry. For the better part of a year, I personally had to defend myself to U.S. safe sport investigators because 2 trans-identified male athletes accused me of sexual misconduct and sexual harassment simply for wearing a Save Women's Sports jersey in competition. Organizations that were created to protect females are being used as social weapons to silence us. Providing fair policies that pertain to all athletes, as House Bill 37 will do, is the only way to ensure fair and meaningful competition for females in Maryland athletics. Let us not forget that adolescent girls are still the most vulnerable members of our society. Last year, NPR published a piece where they stated that 1 in 3 teen girls report having seriously contemplated suicide compared to 1 in 5 identifying LGBTQ+ teens. How dare we, as a society, add to the burden of girls the unfair and irresponsible inclusion of males in their sports? Parents, coaches, and athletes know that biological differences between males and females are so great that unless we defend the protection of the female sport category, those who do not possess that advantage will basically disappear from sport. House Bill 47, Fairness in Girls Act, will allow Maryland athletic competitions to be science-based in fairness and will elevate and empower the voices and abilities of females in sport. Please remember, bodies play sports, not identities. Thank you very much.
Thank you again for joining us. We'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
I have a question.
Yes, come on up.
So we've seen reports, not just in the U.S. but also in Canada, of girls who were born as female being accused by parents of their teammates of being transgender or biologically male, and then they have to go through a process of kind of checking to make sure that they are not. Is that what this bill would intend to do?
No.
But
Yeah.
Also, what would the consequence of a situation like that be?
Well, we would never want to do that. So all athletes in Maryland that play junior varsity and varsity girls sports and boys sports have to fill out a health form before they're allowed to participate. And I can get you a copy of that health form. You can Google it and find it quite easily. And I think the third question says sex at birth. And then there's a further question about what you identify as. So when there's a question, a medical professional fills out that form. And these are kept by the coaches. It's very private. And that question could easily be asked.
Right, but I'm talking about accusations from other parents.
That's not part of the bill. So, any parent who has a question could follow that. There are questions today about age. So, there are people that play high school sports that appear to be 20. And a parent might say, hold on, that boy or girl playing against my son or daughter looks 20 or 21. They have a mustache, a beard. And that's how those questions are answered. So it would be the same as any other question about a student's age or in this case, biological sex.
You talk about, at this point, you're talking about limiting just dealing with high school.
Yes.
Why just high school? Why not above going into college? And why was that not?
Well, there are some, I think 25 states across the country have already passed a similar bill, actually a stricter bill. And some of them include collegiate sports, and Congress recently passed a bill dealing with this on the collegiate level, but we're not dealing with collegiate. The Maryland state government deals with Maryland high school sports, and that's what we're focused on.
What about state colleges?
This bill, nope. This is varsity, JV and varsity high school girls. That's it. Very narrow, very directed. That's where our girls get an opportunity, and someone could bring a bill on that later, but that's not this bill. Yes?
Is there an indication of how many athletes this would actually impact in the state, and is there any kind of numbers around how many athletes like this bill seems to address?
Well, this bill, I'm proud to tell you, will impact all these girls you see standing here. It will protect every girl athlete. So when a girl athlete who is a JV or varsity athlete who's worked so hard to achieve at that competitive level, they know that the playing field is fair. So that's who we're protecting. We're protecting girls. Anything else?
Do you have data about how many girls statewide this would impact?
Yes, I think tens of thousands of high school girls play sports. And I think, Evie, you said like 2 out of 5 girls actually play sports today. And before Title IX?
Yeah, before Title IX, it was only 1 in 27 girls who played sports. Now it's 1 in 5 girls who play sports. So you can take every JV, or you can take every middle school and high school, and you can divide that by 5, and that's how many amazing female athletes that will be protected by this bill. And to answer your question before about how it is that we have these individuals who are fearful of women being men or men being women, if you have a clear rule on the board, then they're just complying with the rule. When we don't have a rule and when things are gray, that's when people get paranoid or they're upset. So we're doing an injustice by not having a clear rule that states that biological females should be protected in their sport.
That's right.
The legislation outlines a co-educational team. What would be the process for schools creating that team, and what if there wouldn't be enough students to play on it?
Yeah, this bill doesn't talk about co-ed. It's simply girl sports.
Well, the bill outlines male, female, and like a mix.
Yes, this bill doesn't talk about male, doesn't talk about co-ed. It simply says that JV and varsity girls sports are going to be for girls. Co-ed can be co-ed. Look, I'm all for everybody recreating. I think
I was asking a question
yeah.
specifically based on what was it?
Yeah, that's what's in the bill.
Delegate, I have a question. I'm wondering, Lee Blinder from Trans Maryland, I'm wondering if you can give some examples of the dominance that you're suggesting for trans girls in sports in Maryland. Like, where are we seeing trans girls dominating sports?
This is not about that. This is about protecting girls. And, we are stepping out, taking a stand for biological girls to know when they step on that field and when they are in that locker room, they know that they're playing against biological girls. So thanks so much. We appreciate you being here. Stay here. We're going to take a picture. Can you take a picture?